Alright, what's up Gundam fans and Gundam builders? This is Connor here, and today we are going to finally be taking a look at the 1/100 scale Master Grade ARC 78-2 version 3.0. Fully painted, fully panel lined, and fully decaled up. Now that it's done, all I can say is wow, that this kit looks really good. Even though I've made some... Building this guy was pretty, I ran into some problems on the way, but yeah, the copper parts I painted myself. I did not use the stickers whatsoever. But yeah, this is fully painted except for the yellow parts. They didn't have bad nubs, and personally I just wanted to get this done so that way I can move on to my next project, which is going to be the metallic finish Wing Gundam Endless Waltz version. So now I'm just going to go into the articulation. The head has a huge amount of movement. It can go side to side, forward and back, and it has a lot of movement. And this is the very first 3.0, so, but I'll give you my pros and cons of this kit at the end of the video. The shoulders can move about that far, and when you move the arms, these little flaps here will open up too, so that's pretty cool. The shoulder pieces here can move. People don't like that, but for posability purposes, it's gonna move. Like if you want the beam rifle to stick out, it's gonna move. So I like that they threw that on there. The arm can go about that far up, and it could go 360 if you wanted it to. But the things that hold it, I don't think they'll hold it that well. And my leg just popped off again. On mine, the legs pop off really easily, so you're just gonna have to bear with me here. So let's see, where was I? The arms. Okay, so they can go that far, and they can bend up that far, which is really nice. And the manipulators can move around 360, and they can also bend up about that far. And these are the manipulators that have their own individual fingers that can move. Like if you focus in close, you can bend them like this and that, including the tip of the thumb, but mine broke off, so I had to glue it on there. So it also has a peg in there, but I don't use the peg because, one, since mine's painted, it's hard to get the peg out, and two, it holds pretty well without the pegs. Next, we got the front skirts, which can move about that far, and they're individual. Side skirts, same thing, they're individual. They don't have a lot of movement. And the back skirts, the same deal, they can move about here. And let's go back up for a second. The beam sabers, they can swivel about forwards and backwards like so, and the thrusters here can move individually, so that's pretty neat. And there's one little gimmick here that if you move the backpack, but I haven't touched it yet a lot because mine's painted. I painted it black and whatnot, so let's see here. Okay. So the waist can actually move a lot. There's a fair good range of movement here. It can bend forwards and backwards, and it can go side to side just a little bit. And for a little gimmick here, the cockpit can open. And I didn't bring the flashlight, but there is a little figure of Amuro Ray in there. I did not bring my flashlight, so oh well. But he's painted a little bit too, and let's see, the legs, I'm going to try to be careful with the legs. They can go about that far, and they can go about that far forward, and without popping the back skirt off, they can go that far without popping the back skirt. So let me just go ahead and fix this. Mine is very, very loose and everything, and yeah, so hold on a second, let me just pop this back on. There we go, okay. And it does have a little bit of break open armor on the leg. As you can see, it can break open. As you move it down, you can see the mechanism will shift. And the copper parts I painted myself. And the knee will also bend open. As you can see there, it'll bend open. So, boom. Alright, so that's pretty cool stuff. And the foot here there's a lot of movement on the foot, and the ankle guard, mine's pretty stiff because it's painted, can move up and down. Now the toe can move up, and the heel back here can move up and down too. So there's a lot of movement going on in this kit, which I like a lot, since it's more flexible and everything, but I wish that this just came more sturdy, so you don't have any problems like what I did, and I'll explain that toward the end of the video. Alright, so for the accessories, I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into it. You have the Beam Saber parts, and it comes with a clear pink beam, beam sword. Remember my last video how I said. So yeah, this is the beam sword, and some pegs, you just push them out, and there's a peg in the hand that you flick that one out and you match them up, but mine does a pretty good job of holding it without using the pegs, so you just get it around, and he actually does a pretty good job at holding the beam saber as is, so no worries. Yeah, it does a pretty good job holding the beam saber. Shake test. Well, besides that beam saber falling out of the socket, that's another thing, is that the beam saber holders are really loose, especially on mine. Okay, so we got that out of the way. The beam saber is done. Now, if you're wondering, I did use the stickers just because, one, I was in a rush to get this kit done, and two, they look okay. So I did not get the expansion pack to make the eyes glow. So I just painted the eyes gold leaf, as you can see. I'll zoom in on the kit later. Okay, so the next accessory that we got, let me just move him over, is the beam rifle, which is pretty nice. I painted the inside there chrome, and I gave the scope a new color. It's a gold leaf color. Stand up. There we go. Okay, so it's a gold leaf on the scope, and same thing, it has a peg in here, but mine does a pretty good job of holding it and everything, and so I need to just match up the hands here. Get the trigger in shape for the time being right now. There we go. And let me just move the thumb into place and get the fingers in there too, and the thumb. Okay. Yeah, so mine does a pretty good job of holding it as is. I'm not going to be doing that much. So for movement, well, yeah, it shakes a little bit because mine's not pegged into place. So for movement, the scope can swivel and the handle can swivel too. Pretty nice. I put the stickers on too, so that's pretty good. Let's see, stand up. Okay. Now the shield. Now this part is tricky. Mine doesn't want to. Well, here it is, fully detailed and everything, panel lined and stickers on. It does have this little gimmick where you, if I can find it, there's a switch back here, and you lift that up, and it's like a blast shield, but these gray parts are in the way. But yeah, hold on a sec. Yeah, there we go. You get the idea. There's a blast shield there. These gray parts are in the way, so I didn't panel line the back because I was really lazy. I didn't want to do it. So so how you mount it on the arm, I'm not quite sure how you do it, but you take this part. Well, first you get it into place. And then it's supposed to clamp on his arm somehow, but it's not. It doesn't want to do it for me, I guess, because mine is painted. I messed up on the white parts, so. But since it's not attaching on there, I plug it into the back. Come on, leg. Ugh. The legs on mine just love falling off, so. Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what? So here's the peg, and there is a hole in his backpack, and you just line it up, and there we go. The shield is mounted on his back. But let me put the leg back on. Mine is very fragile. Okay, there we go. Mine's very, very loose. So now there he is, all deformed and crap. So there we go. Okay. So, and yeah, there we go. So let's do the spin around real quick. My final thoughts on the kit is the outcome is really good, but the final product, for mine anyways, I'm not a big fan of it because the legs keep on falling off. Everything seems loose, and you know, this should be a message to Bandai saying, hey, if you're gonna come out with a 3.0 sometime in the future, you might want to fix up the bad things that you did on the RX-78 too. So, but yeah, everything's just loose, and there are some bumps that I made along the way with the white, and I ran out of white, and I decided to use the spray can paint, white paint, and it didn't come out right. It covered like all the details and everything, and I didn't like it. So, but yeah, so that's what it looks like now. And I'll tell you the color scheme that I did if you guys wanna just go through with my color scheme. The colors that I used for the gray parts, as you can see, how I made the gray a little bit pop a little bit more. I used jet gray on some of them, and medium sea gray. I used jet gray. Yeah, no, not medium sea gray. I used jet gray on all the grays, so that's what I used. White, blue, Tamiya blue, red. This is the red that I used is not a Tamiya red. I forgot the name of it, but it is an enamel paint. It's an enamel red, and I think it just looks really good, so I'm gonna probably be sticking with the enamel reds whenever I want to paint something red. But yeah, that's what I came out with. And the gray parts, like the hands and everything, are Tamiya metallic gray. Now, since this metallic gray was a little old, I found it in like a really big treasure box kind of thing in my dad's workshop. I found a bunch of paints and everything. Since it was really old, it didn't come out quite well. Like, you could see little splash marks and puddles and everything on the gray that I wanted it to be metallic and everything. So, but yeah, that's what happens. And since this is really loose, I'm probably not going to do all that posing, especially with this leg continuing to pop off. So, but yeah, that's just something that, hey, Bandai can just take a look at this and fix it the next time they want to release a Master Grade version 3.0. So that concludes this video for the RX-78 version 3.0 Master Grade review. Thank you for watching. Oh yeah, if you guys are wondering about the bazooka, I messed that up too because the paint came out wrong. So I just decided not to build the bazooka and pose with it because the bazooka is just going to get in the way. Everybody knows that that Gundams don't really pose well with the bazookas in hand. So I'm just not going to bother with the bazooka. So I just have him pose with the beam rifle and a shield. Since I can't attach the shield onto his arm, I'm just going to have it mounted on the back forever and all eternity. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think about the color scheme and everything. Coming soon, I'm going to show you guys the metallic finish Wing Gundam Endless Waltz. Thank you for watching.